I am here. Listen. Nothing that is happening right now is ordinary. This message is not a coincidence, it is not just any content. It is a heavenly summons, released directly from the throne of heaven. I urgently released something from the invisible, and I needed to send Miguel, my angel of war, because what you will hear now carries eternal weight. There was resistance. There was a real battle in the heavens. Spiritual forces tried to prevent this word from reaching you, because they knew the impact it would have. They knew that when you listened, something would move, something would unlock, something would be saved. But nothing could stop it. Nothing can cancel what I, the Lord, have already decreed. When my voice is raised, there is no opposing force that remains standing. And in this instant, I chose you. I went through layers of darkness, noises of the world, distractions of the day, to reach your heart with a living, direct, holy and transformative word. Take a deep breath. This is a moment sealed for eternity. You are not here by accident, you are here because I brought you. I brought you together this very second because there is a spiritual urgency around someone you love deeply, and you are part of their deliverance from this life. You have felt, even without understanding, a weight on your spirit. A restlessness that doesn't go away. Thoughts that come at night, memories of that person who is distant, cold, lost or even in danger, and you don't understand why. I reveal to you now, this pain is not random. This connection is spiritual. The love you feel is a bridge. And I'm about to use you as a conduit for divine intervention. Miguel didn't just come down with a message. He came down with war orders. And you are being called to align with heaven right now. There is a life at risk, but your yes can activate the move that changes everything. That person, who you carry in prayer, who is in your thoughts, who you mentioned in tears or just wished to protect in silence. I saw her too. And now, I want to use you as a voice, as a bridge, as an intercessor. Pay attention, the spiritual world moves based on placements. And your positioning now, upon receiving this word, is crucial. There is a determined time, and it has arrived. You have come to be the difference between deliverance and chaos, between liberation and the abyss. I am activating your spirit. I am opening your eyes to realize that this is not just a message of comfort. It is a call to act in faith. You may think that you don't have the strength, that you aren't prepared, that you aren't worthy. But I tell you, do not call the one I called incapable. Don't say you're small when I lift you up like a pillar. Don't say you don't know how to pray when I put the words in your mouth. Heaven trusts you now. And if you believe, if you align yourself, you will see doors opening not only for you, but for that life that I am showing you now in thought. I am the Lord. I move heaven and earth for love. I send angels, I unlock paths, I break walls. And right now, as you listen to my voice, I am surrounding that person with light. I'm invading dark territories where she walks. I am undoing bonds of deception, confusion, danger and death. I'm rewriting destinies. But I need you to stay here. I need you to engage with me in this move. Don't minimize this moment. You're not just watching something. You are being included in a spiritual mission. And your answer matters. As you listen to me, as your heart burns and recognizes that I am here, take a leap of faith. Declare in the invisible that you trust. Comment now with faith the name of the person you love and want to see saved. Write with authority. Because as you write, I move. As you release with your fingers, I release with my power. You have been summoned by heaven. And that word was delivered into your hands with purpose. Stay. What starts here changes stories. You have been chosen to hear this now. Even before you were born, this encounter between my voice and your heart was already written. I knew the exact moment you needed to hear this. I knew the urgency that would surround someone you love. I knew the battle that would happen behind the scenes of life. I knew you would feel small, powerless, confused, but you're not. You are an essential part of what I am doing. There is a life in danger, yes. But you are part of the answer. You didn't fall here by chance. You didn't stumble upon this video by accident. This is not just content that appeared on your screen. It was I who allowed it. It was I who prepared this moment with divine precision. While you lived your days, carrying anxieties that you couldn't even explain, I was already surrounding you. It was already activating the heavens around you, carefully leading you here. Now that your soul is sensitive, now that your spiritual eyes are opening, I can reveal to you the truth. What you feel for this person is not ordinary. It's spiritual. It is a bond built by me. This love that moves you, this longing, this worry that insists on not passing, are signs. These are touches from my spirit calling you to position yourself. Because yes, there is danger around the ones you love, but there is also a plan, a promise, an outstretched hand. And it is I who extends it. It is I who shows you all this, not to burden you, but to activate you. To remind you that you are not a spectator of an announced tragedy. You are the gateway to the supernatural. You are the point of contact between heaven and this life that needs to be touched. The tears you already shed for this person are not lost. I collected each one. I heard every prayer, even the silent ones. The ones you made with your thoughts, while holding back your tears. Those that appeared in the middle of the routine, without words, just with the heart crying out. I was there. And today, I speak to you because the time has come to act. The time has come to understand that this love is not weakness. It's a mission. You may ask yourself, but what can I do for someone who doesn't even listen to me anymore? What can I do for someone who has moved so far away? Is there still time? And I answer, there is time because I am the owner of time. There is chance because I am the God of restoration. And there is a movement happening right now that you are not seeing, but that has been activated by the simple fact that you have stood here, listening, with an open heart. I'm acting, yes. I am surrounding this person with deliverance. But I called you to something more, to be a collaborator in the miracle. You are not alone in this feeling. I care too. I also see what no one sees. I know the dangers, the dark thoughts, the wrong places, the dangerous alliances that surround this life. And that's why I need you positioned. You cannot allow fear to paralyze you. You cannot ignore the call thinking it is someone else's responsibility. Because I chose you. Because your prayer has access. Because your heart is pure enough to intercede with truth. Because your love is the channel through which I want to flow. Now that you know this, now that you understand that this connection has eternal roots, I ask you, do not remain silent. Don't back down. Don't get distracted. This person is at the center of an intense spiritual battle, and your positioning can change the outcome. I will show you how to pray. I will give you discernment. I will reveal things to you that others cannot see. But I need you to be willing to remain in me. To trust. To be continued. If in this moment I have brought clarity to your spirit, if something within you is being confirmed right now, then do not hold back on that word. Share with those who need it. Share with those you love. This may be exactly the message God wants to use to reach someone other than you. The truth is that the miracle has already begun. The sky has already moved. But there are others who need to feel what you felt. Spread this word like a seed. And what you're about to see will be bigger than you asked for. Stay. There is still more to reveal. You have no idea how much you carry inside you. But I see. I know. And that's why today I'm telling you, what you feel, what you've been through, what you've faced, everything has a much greater purpose than you imagined. The pains that you didn't tell anyone, the days when you needed to remain strong on the outside while crumbling on the inside, the moments when you prayed without strength, trusting in silence, all of this was shaping me within you into a living tool. The love you have for that person is not just a feeling. It is a sacred channel. It is a spiritual bridge that I want to cross. You're not just here to watch a miracle happen. You are here because you are part of the miracle. You were created for a specific purpose and activated at this exact moment. Everything you've experienced, even the falls, even the delays, even the frustrations, everything has been used to forge in you the kind of faith that moves heaven. The faith that remains even when you don't understand. The faith that loves even without return. The faith that holds in my hands even when everything seems dark. And that is why now I say, you are the answer. You are an instrument. You are voice. You are shelter. And what I put inside you is enough to change the path of the one you love. That person who has been keeping you up at night, who you see moving away, who seems to be sinking deeper and deeper, who may not even know how much you love them, they will be reached. Not because of human merit, but because I am activating you as an extension of my movement. You feel it, even without seeing it. You pray, even without an answer. You continue, even if there is no return. And that is faith. And I honor faith. I even hear the whispers. I move because of the thoughts you dedicate in silence. And now, I am releasing something upon you. Something that will touch those in danger. Because this person you love is surrounded by distractions, by traps, by confusion, but they are also surrounded by your prayer. And that's what's making the difference. Don't despise what you carry. Don't think your voice is small. When you talk to me, the heavens move. When you pray, I send reinforcement. When you bend your knees, I raise invisible walls to protect. You may not see it yet, but it is happening. Right now, as you hear this word, I am breaking down strongholds. I'm undoing the enemy's deals. I'm putting light where there was darkness. Your love is not in vain. Your cry is not in vain. That connection you feel, that urgency in your heart, that restlessness, it's all spiritual. And the longer you remain, the more I can act. The more you give me, the more I move. Don't stop. Don't back down. Don't give in to doubt. You have been positioned by me for this moment. And I chose you exactly as you are. It doesn't have to be perfect. It needs to be available. And you are available. You are here. You've heard this far. And that already says a lot. Now allow me to continue what I started. Allow this seed to grow. Allow this move to expand. Because what you carry goes beyond you. It goes beyond emotions. It is a spiritual heritage that carries purpose, healing, liberation and promise. If this word has spoken to your heart, if you feel like you are being used as an instrument, then show heaven that you are aligned. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. This is more than engagement, it is an act of spiritual agreement. It's a way of saying, I am here, and I am available to be used. He who loves deeply is capable of interceding intensely. And the intercession of a righteous person can do much in its effects. Continue. There is still more to be released. You were called not only to love, but to save. And what starts inside you will touch the impossible. What you carry can, yes, save someone. And that person you love so much will be achieved, because you chose to remain. I saw everything. Every tear that fell without anyone noticing. Every time you hid to not worry others. Every silent prayer that came from your heart, even when your mouth no longer had the strength to speak. I've been there. On your good days and on the days when everything seemed to fall apart. I didn't leave you for a single moment, even though you thought you were alone. Because I know your deepest thoughts, even those you dare not tell anyone. And today, I tell you, you were not ignored. You were guarded, accompanied, loved, all the time. If you could see how close I was in the moments when you felt most abandoned, you would cry with gratitude. Because even the sighs you gave in silence, I heard. I saw when your soul got tired. When you looked up at the sky and could only ask in thought, until when? I was there. There was no moment when my gaze was not upon you. Even when everything seemed quiet, even when my answers didn't come as you expected, I was working in silence, preparing a path that you still couldn't see. Do not interpret my silence as absence. I speak many languages, and sometimes, silence is one of them. It reveals how much you trust, how much you remain, how much you choose me even without guarantees. And this has a spiritual weight that you still cannot imagine. Because it is precisely when you remain that I move with more intensity. When you choose to believe even when tired, you activate promises. When you pray even without understanding, you break through layers of darkness. When you love even when you are hurt, you align yourself with my heart. Do you think I didn't see when you thought about giving up? I saw. I saw it when the weight was so great that you just wanted to sleep and forget about it. I saw when you kept quiet so as not to hurt anyone. When he swallowed words, when he endured in silence. I saw when they asked you if everything was okay and you smiled saying yes, but inside your world was in pieces. I saw. And more than that, I felt it. Because every time you suffered, I was by your side. Every time she cried, I leaned over. Every time you thought you were alone, I was closer than ever. You are not invisible to me. You are not forgotten. You are not just another one. You are mine. And I do not leave my children unanswered. Sometimes it takes me a while to act in your eyes, but I never stop acting in the invisible. And that's why today I came to remind you, nothing was in vain. Every whispered prayer, every suppressed cry, every thought charged with silent faith, all were noted in my book. I count until tears. I collect your silences like seeds. And none of them will be without fruit. You have been praying for someone you love. You've been carrying a pain in your heart that doesn't seem to be yours, but that hits you as if it were. This is spiritual. This love has eternal roots. And I want to tell you that I saw every time you mentioned this person's name. I saw every time he asked for her, that he thought of her when he slept, that he cried out for her to be protected. I saw their attempts to help, their gestures of care, their words of hope. I saw your effort not to give up, even when everything said otherwise. And I was pleased with all of this, because you were being like me, persistent in love. Nothing went unnoticed. No details. No thought of yours for this life you love has been ignored. And today, I affirm with all my authority, your silent faithfulness did not go unnoticed. I will honor every gesture of faith you had, even on the days when it seemed like nothing changed. You sowed in tears, but you will reap in joy. Because I saw it. Because I wrote it down. Because I am the God who responds in perfect time. And that time is approaching. As you listen to this word, something inside you is being healed. Because I'm playing where no one has been able to touch. I am restoring areas of your heart that have been left out. I am rebuilding lost trust. I'm showing you that, even when everything seemed silent, I was working. This time of silence was not punishment. It was taken care of. I enveloped you in secret to form you, to protect you, to prepare you. Now, I am revealing all of this to you because the time has come to leave the silence with understanding. To know that you were never alone. Stay tuned, because there is still more to reveal. And it all starts with recognizing that I was never far away. I saw everything. And therefore, now, I manifest myself with power in your life. The time for response has arrived. What you waited for so long, what seemed to be stopped, stuck, forgotten, now starts to move. The seeds that you sowed in prayer, even without seeing fruit for so long, are beginning to germinate in the invisible. I heard everything. I collected every order. I observed every gesture of faith, even when no one else did. And now, as Lord of time and promise, I declare, the time of fulfillment has arrived. You didn't imagine it would come like this. Maybe he didn't even feel the strength to wait anymore. Maybe you've gotten used to living with this absence, with this pain, with this constant fear for the one you love. But I haven't forgotten. I never stopped working in your favor. What seemed like silence was preparation. What seemed like a delay was alignment. Because my action is not hasty, it is perfect. And when I move, nothing can stop me. And now, I'm moving. I am undoing knots that the enemy has built for years. I am breaking emotional, spiritual, and even physical chains. I am untying paths that seemed closed forever. What you asked for in tears, what you dreamed of in secret, what you thought you lost. I am restoring. I'm bringing you back with new life, with new purpose, with direction from heaven. This person you love, for whom you have interceded so much, is not beyond my reach. Even if you have moved away, even if you have hardened your heart, even if you have become involved in crooked paths, I am reaching. I now send my light to the places where it walks. I send my voice to echo where there was once noise and confusion. I send protection where there was danger, and I command my angels to surround it with deliverance. But more than that, I send healing. Heals from the inside out. Healing that transforms the soul, that restores identity, that breaks old lies. Because what she lives does not define who she is. I know her inside. I formed it. And I myself am rescuing what the world tried to erase. But this move started with you. It started the day you chose to believe. It began with his persistence in praying. It started when you decided to love even when it hurt. That is why today I declare that your faith was not in vain. Even though it was the size of a mustard seed, it was enough to move the heavens. And now, the answers are beginning to manifest themselves. Doors are opening. The favor is being released. Circumstances are realigning. What was locked for too long begins to unlock. And you will realize, the signs will come. A detail, a piece of news, an unexpected message. Things that only you and I know are the answer. And when that happens, remember this moment. Remember, this is where I told you, the time has come. Not because you pushed, but because you persevered. Not because you forced it, but because you trusted it. This is the time to see with your eyes what your spirit already knew. It is time to walk with living hope. To pray with conviction. To love without fear. Because heaven is acting in your favor. If you believe in this word, comment now, 7,777. Write with faith, write with purpose. This number will be like a prophetic seal between you and heaven, a symbol that you recognize that the time has come and that you are ready to experience its fulfillment. Each number you write carries a spiritual declaration: I believe, I receive, I remain. The act is simple, but the impact on the invisible is profound. Continue here. There is still more being revealed. The movement that has started will not stop. You were chosen to live and witness what others only dream of. And that's just the beginning. You can save the ones you love by staying. Yes, that's what I'm telling you now. Just staying here, keeping your heart open to my voice, not disconnecting in the middle of the struggle, that has more power than you realize. There is a spiritual battle going on around that person you love, and your abiding in me has been like a shield, like a wall of protection, like a constant channel through which I can act. Every time you decide to stay, even without seeing changes, even without feeling anything, you are positioning yourself in response. I know there are days when it seems pointless. Days when you think there is no point in praying anymore. That nothing changes. That person is increasingly distant, colder, more involved with what they destroy. But I see beyond. I know what happens in the spirit when you cry out. When you decide not to give up. When you repeat her name with faith, even if your voice is weak. You are opening holes in the sky. It is creating invisible paths where my glory is passing. You have no idea how much your faith has sustained situations that would have already collapsed. You can't imagine how many deliverances I have already granted because of your cry. And that's why today, I tell you clearly, don't stop. Don't back down. Your stay is saving. Your love is reaching out. Your spiritual insistence is overcoming deep resistance. You are not fighting in vain. And he's not fighting alone. I'm with you. I am surrounding this person. I'm entering where you can't enter. I'm talking when you can't talk. I'm touching where you would never have access. But all of this is only happening because you didn't give up. Because you chose to remain. And that is what is making the difference between the fall and the rescue. Between destruction and deliverance. You are a living bridge. An invisible but extremely powerful intercessor. Don't underestimate your stay. The enemy wants you to be distracted, to get tired, to disconnect. Because he knows that as long as you continue, the sky remains open. As long as you listen to me, I continue to move. As long as you remain in faith, miracles continue to be prepared. That's why he tried to make you think it wasn't working. But today I expose this lie. It's working. It is being fulfilled. It is being released. There are times when war intensifies just before victory. And perhaps you are feeling the greatest weight now, not because everything is lost, but because the enemy has already realized that he is going to lose. And it goes. Because what I started will not be stopped. Because the answer I sent will not come back empty. Because the promise I made stands. But I need you to follow. May it remain. May you allow me to continue acting. As you remain, I clear the way. As you pray, I tear down strongholds. While you love, I free. As long as you believe, I restore. There is a movement happening right now, even if your eyes don't see it. But your eyes will see. Because the invisible will soon become visible. And what seemed distant will be touched. What seemed lost will be found again. What seemed irrecoverable will be completely restored. Share this word with those you know need to hear it too. There are other people who, like you, are interceding for someone. They are silent, thinking that no one sees, but heaven sees. And this message could be the key to awakening a faith that will also save other lives. You are not alone on this mission. There are many others who have been raised up to love deeply and remain faithful. Spread that light. Spread this truth. Because together, we are building a movement that will achieve much more than we imagine. Continue. Stay. I am here. And what you are doing, even in silence, is echoing in the sky. This is love. This is faith. This is salvation. And you are at the center of what I am about to complete. The enemy tried to block what was yours. He tried to delay promises, interrupt processes, confuse his heart and undermine his faith. And for a long time, you even thought they were just life circumstances. But today I reveal to you, there was indeed a war fought in the invisible. And she was intense. What you felt as emotional pressure, what you faced as daily resistance, what felt like failure after failure, all of this was the result of a spiritual battle set up to keep you from receiving what I have released into your life. You weren't wrong to feel like something was trying to slow you down. And it wasn't imagination when it seemed like everything fell apart just when you were about to move forward. There was an intention behind it. Because the enemy knew what you were carrying. I knew the spiritual influence you exerted, even in silence. He knew that his love for that person was not ordinary, it was a divine connection. He knew that his faith, even when tired, was capable of moving mountains. And he tried to stop it. He tried to isolate you, confuse you, silence you. But it failed. Because you didn't stop. Because you chose to continue. And because now, I am standing up in your favor. I did not remain silent out of carelessness. I was watching. I was training. I was allowing the right time to act with justice and power. And now, with authority that no contrary spirit can match, I declare, the blocks are being broken. I am sending angels with sword in hand. Angels assigned to battle. Angels who descend with direct orders from my throne to undo what has been armed against you and those you love. These angels don't just come as messengers. They come as warriors. They come to cut ties, break invisible pacts, erase the enemy's tracks, destroy curse words cast in occultity. They come to restore the ground that was trampled, to cleanse the atmosphere, to restore what was stolen in silence. Because what is yours will no longer be withheld. Because what I promised you will no longer be postponed. Because what belongs to you spiritually is being returned with honor. You have no idea what traps were set. How much hell tried to weaken you before getting here. But you won. Not by force, but by permanence. Because even without knowing, even in tears, even in confusion, you remained. And now, the sky moves in your favor. Not only to honor you, but to free that life that you placed before me with so much love. Because that person was also surrounded. It was also trapped in chains that you couldn't see. Shrouded in lies, in dark paths, in mental confusion, in alliances that did not come from me. But your prayer opened the way. His intercession opened rifts. His faith attracted light where there was only shadow before. And I entered. I entered with my army. I entered with order. I entered with power. And what was previously blocked will now be released. The promises have not been cancelled. They were just resisted. But I am greater than any resistance. I am the God who breaks bows, who shatters chains, who tears down walls with the sound of my voice. And now, my voice is upon you, saying, go forward. Because nothing will stop you. Nothing will stop what I am doing. And everything the enemy tried to use against you will be turned into a testimony. You will see with your own eyes what I am doing. You will experience what you could only imagine before. If you feel that this word is yours, if something inside you confirms that it is being achieved now, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. This gesture is more than a click, it's a prophetic act, it's a spiritual sign that you are aligned with what heaven is doing. You didn't get here by chance. It was driven. It was chosen. And now, the time of restoration has begun. Stay with me. What was blocked has already started to move. And what comes next is complete liberation. Invisible chains are falling now. As you listen, as your heart remains open, something much greater than you can perceive is happening in the spiritual world. It's not just around. It's inside you. I'm touching areas that have been hidden for a long time. Places where the pain has settled. Thoughts that were normalized, but were limiting you. Wounds that you no longer even remembered, but that continue to influence your decisions, your fears, your silences. I'm going where no one has gone before. Where you yourself avoided going. I'm opening internal doors and undoing ties that you didn't know existed. And I'm not doing this with violence, but with love. With my presence that heals, with my voice that frees, with my spirit that cleanses and restores. There are things in your soul that were held back, blocked, deadened. Situations that you experienced and that still reverberate like shadows within you. But now, all of that is being undone. Now, liberation is not just around you. It's in you. Because in order for you to save the one you love, you first need to be healed. And that's why I'm treating you with so much care. Because I called you to be a channel of life, not a repetition of pain. And I know that you have experienced situations that left marks. That many times you tried to help, tried to be strength for others, but inside you still carried weights that you never knew how to let go of. Today, I show you, you no longer need to live with these emotional chains. I came to break them. I came to free even what you don't have the courage to confess. Some of these arrests were formed by words you heard. Others, due to rejections he suffered. For disappointments that he swallowed in silence. By silent abandonment. For unfair comparisons. For unexpected betrayals. And all of this created barriers within you. Defense mechanisms. Self-imposed limits that prevent you from moving forward freely. But now, I break them one by one. I destroy every argument of the enemy. Every lie that was sown in your mind. Every accusation that tried to distort your identity. You are not weak. You are no less. You are not forgotten. You are mine. And I myself am restoring who you are. What once paralyzed you will now be what will drive you forward. What made you afraid to trust will now be the testimony of the new trust that I am planting in you. You will no longer react based on old wounds. It will act based on the new vision I am releasing. Your mind is being transformed. Your heart is being aligned. And from this, the spiritual flow that was impeded begins to manifest itself with force. You will notice changes in the way you feel, how you think, how you see situations around you. You will notice a new lightness, an unexpected courage, a growing desire to give yourself even more to me. This is the fruit of what I am doing now. Because as the chains fall, my spirit finds space. And when I have space, I make all things new. In fact, there are currents that were affecting your relationships, preventing you from trusting, opening up, truly forgiving. Chains that were formed by family repetitions, by past traumas, by harsh words that you never forgot. But I am an expert in breaking cycles, in interrupting patterns, in healing traumas that seemed eternal. And right now, I am breaking these ancient roots. Because you were not created to live trapped by what happened. You have been called to walk free in what I have prepared. You will love without fear. You will pray with authority. You will intercede with clarity. Because nothing will hold your voice anymore. Nothing will block your spirit anymore. The healing that began in you will be the channel through which I will heal others, including that person who is in your heart. Her liberation also depends on yours. And as you are allowing, as you are abiding, as you are trusting, right now, the liberating anointing is flowing through your life. What was once shadow will now be light. What was once doubt will now be certainty. What was once weight will now be momentum. Because I did not call you to drag chains, but to break them. And you are being set free right now. Staying here was not in vain. The liberation is underway. And there is still more to release. Continue. I am still leading you to deeper dimensions of promise. You are the key to the liberation of others. Maybe you've never thought like that. Maybe, for so long, you believed that you first needed to be completely healed, resolved, strong, and then you could help someone. But today I show you that even in the process, even in the midst of the struggle, even with marks and scars, you are already being used. Because my power does not depend on your emotional state. It depends on your delivery. And you have given in. You have made yourself available. You have responded to my call, even if you are afraid, even if you don't know how. And that is why I can act. You are not the end of the promise. You are the channel through which it will flow. The liberation I started in you is not just to relieve you. It's so you can become an instrument. What I am building inside your heart will be used to open doors, break chains, lift others up. And that includes that person you love. The one you cry out to every day. The one that seems far away, cold, distant. What is being done in you now becomes a living bridge between her and heaven. Your positioning matters. Your stay matters. Your faith is activating territories that seemed unreachable. There are places she would never go alone, but where you are already spiritually in my name. His intercession broke barriers. Your faithfulness in secret has eternal value. And you need to know, her liberation is being built on the altar of your perseverance. When you bend your knees, the heavens tilt. When you seek me in silence, I move with strength. And it's not just about that person. It's about everyone who will be reached by the change I'm making in you. There is an anointing being poured out that will not stop at you. It will pass. It will reach others. Because you were not called to just endure the pain. He was called to transform environments. To load my presence. To be an answer where there were only questions. To be a voice where there was silence before. Light where there was confusion. You thought, for so long, that you weren't capable. That he didn't have what was needed. That others were more prepared, more spiritual, stronger. But I don't call the ready ones. I prepare those available. And you are. You are the one who, despite being afraid, remained. Even though he was injured, he prayed. Even without seeing fruit, he continued planting. And that is why I entrust this mission to you. Because you truly love. Because you care. Because you carry my heart. The liberation of others begins with someone who says yes. And you said. Maybe without realizing it, maybe without understanding the depth. But you said. When he prayed even without knowing if it worked. When he believed even without seeing it. When you asked for someone who let you down. When he insisted for someone who already seemed lost. That was the one that opened the sky. And now, you will see with your own eyes what happens when someone decides to carry love with fidelity. I am aligning everything around you. Touching people through your life. Healing through your intercession. Changing destinations for your stay. And even if no one applauds, even if no one sees, the sky is recording. And the result will not just be spiritual. It will be visible. You will see restored smiles. Renewed relationships. Souls rescued. Open paths. Because where I find an available heart, I build silent revolutions. You have been activated by love. And it will continue to be used out of love. The liberation that began within you is already expanding. And nothing will stop the flow of what I released. Continue here. There is still more. I am still revealing deep layers of the mission I entrusted to you. Don't stop. Because what I'm doing now will impact much more than you imagine. It all started with a yes. And heaven is still responding to him. Old guilts are being broken now. The ones you don't talk to anyone about. The ones that still visit you in the early hours of the morning. The ones you learn to live with as if they were part of who you are. But I tell you, they are not. They are not part of the identity I gave you. They were imposed by lies, fed by time and reinforced by accusations, internal and external. But today, before my presence, they are being destroyed one by one. Because what I forgave can no longer imprison you. You charge yourself for things that have already been dealt with on my altar. He replays old scenes, relives decisions he would like to change, analyzes words he said or didn't say. And without realizing it, you feed on a weight that I never placed on you. This guilt does not come from me. This cycle of self-sabotage, this thinking that makes you feel incapable or unworthy, is not my voice. My voice doesn't accuse. My voice heals. And now, she reaches out to you to say, enough. No more carrying burdens that I have already taken away. No more walking looking back. No more blocking light from coming in because of locked windows in the past. You are not the mistake you made. It's not the silence that there was. It's not the absence he regrets. You are who I formed, who I called, who I empowered, and who I am restoring today. Nothing that happened stopped me from continuing to love you. And none of this nullifies the purpose I outlined for you. On the contrary, I even used the falls as a building base. The dark days forged his empathy. Deep pains refined his sensitivity. The failures you lament now are the stepping stones that support the spiritual authority I am placing over you. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer need to justify anything. I saw everything. I know what led you to each decision. I know how hard you tried, how much you regretted it, how much you wished you had done it differently. And therefore, I have extended my grace. The same grace that covers, that cleans, that transforms. There is no more condemnation for those who walk under my direction. And you are. You're back. You chose to remain. You opened your heart. And that's enough. The past no longer has power over you. This person you love, for whom you cry out so much, is also part of this liberation. Because part of what kept you from interceding freely was the feeling that you weren't worthy. But I tell you, I don't use you because you are perfect. I use you because you are available. And right now, I'm peeling back layers of accusation, fear, shame. I am exchanging clothes of mourning for robes of righteousness. I'm pouring new oil over your head. You are mine. And I declare you free from guilt. What seemed like an internal obstacle will now be a testimony. What held you back will now be part of what I will use to free others. Because there are people waiting to hear from someone who has overcome it. Hoping to see in someone the possibility of starting over. And you will be that reference. Not out of pride, but out of grace. Not for merits, but for transformation. Because whoever is forgiven deeply, loves truly. And you will be a channel of love like you have never been before. Don't look back in pain anymore. Look with gratitude. Because even when everything seemed wrong, I was teaching you to trust. I was teaching you to hear my voice. And now, she calls you to the new. The new where there is no room for guilt. Where you walk with your head held high, with your feet firm, with your heart free. Where you pray without fear. Loves without reservation. And it remains without hiding. Share this message with those who need to be freed from guilt too. There are lives that are stuck in the past, waiting for a word that brings relief. And that word came to you, not to stop at you, but to flow. Sharing is spreading healing. It is extending the same liberation that you are experiencing now. You have been forgiven. It has been restored. And it is being raised in response. Continue here. There is still more to release. The process is just beginning. And what once embarrassed you will now be part of the glorious plan that I am revealing in your life. What seemed like loss was protection. I know it hurt. I know you didn't understand at the time. I saw when your plans were interrupted, when what you wanted so much was ripped from your hands. I saw how much he tried, how much he prayed, how much he placed expectations on people, places, opportunities. And I also saw when everything fell apart without explanation. But today, I reveal to you, it was not abandonment, it was deliverance. I closed doors that you were not yet mature enough to understand. I protected you from paths that seemed good, but that would take you away from your purpose. You thought you lost, but in fact I kept you. Of alliances that would consume you from the inside. From environments that would destroy your identity. Of choices that would lead you to emotional prisons. Of destinations that seemed promising, but hid spiritual traps. You looked back and felt like a failure, forgotten, rejected. But I was pulling you back to the safe path. Because I see what you don't see. I know what's up ahead. And even when you resisted, even when you cried asking for it to come back, I remained firm, because I love you too much to let you live outside of what I prepared for you. If you knew the details I prevented, the mistakes I didn't let happen, the ties I cut without you noticing, you would fall to your knees right now in gratitude. I freed you from greater pain. I freed you from weights that weren't yours. Of cycles that would suck you inside. And even when you insisted, when you thought my silence was indifference, I was acting in secret, protecting what you still could not understand. And more than that, it wasn't just about you. It was also about who you love. That person you've been crying out for was also surrounded by risks you didn't see. She was also about to enter dangerous paths. And your intercession gave me the legality to interfere. Yes, there were ruptures. Yes, there were departures. But it was to preserve. I separated to heal. I moved away to line up. I disconnected to redirect. Because healing needs silence. And reconstruction requires space. You asked me to protect. He asked me to take care of it. And I took care. Just not in the way you imagined. And now, looking back, you will begin to realize, what seemed like injustice was mercy. What seemed like forgetfulness was zeal. What seemed like punishment was a deviation from the route to salvation. I wasn't punishing you. I was positioning you. Because great things were coming, and you needed to be in the right place, with the right heart, and away from everything that would try to steal you from me. And see how everything starts to make sense. Those painful pauses made room for new beginnings. Those closed doors pushed you to higher paths. Those people who left room for divine connections. I removed what was good to give what is eternal. And I'm still doing it. I'm still removing the excess. I'm still clearing the land. Because what I'm going to plant in you needs fertile soil. So don't regret what didn't come back anymore. Don't cry anymore for what I had to take away. Trust in my zeal. I was never careless with you. And I never will be. I'm taking care of it now. I'm redirecting your vision to what really matters. I am adjusting your emotions, your expectations, your desires. You are being prepared for something that goes far beyond what you dreamed of. And this preparation requires that you leave behind what no longer serves you, what does not strengthen you, what does not bring you closer to me. If you feel that this word has repositioned you, if something inside you now understands what previously confused you, then subscribe to the channel. Being here, connected to what heaven is releasing, is part of your alignment. It is a way of remaining where God's voice continues to be released. You are not alone on this path. I'm with you. And what seemed like an end before, was the beginning of salvation. Don't stop now. I'm still cleaning, aligning, revealing. And what comes after will be greater than anything that went away. Trust. What seemed like loss was protection. And you'll soon see why. A new phase begins in silence. Not with applause, not with advertisements, not with immediate recognition. It starts with the lightness of someone who has been treated from the inside. With the firmness of someone who learned to trust when everything seemed to fall apart. It begins in the hidden, in the secret, where human eyes cannot reach, but where I was all the time, forming in you what no one saw. And now, I tell you, what was built in silence will be sustained for eternity. Because everything that is born from me has purpose, has direction, and has destiny. You may have looked around and asked yourself, why doesn't anything happen? Why does it seem like everyone is moving forward and I'm still here, standing still, forgotten, waiting? But what you call stagnation, I call foundation. Because all solid construction starts from below, invisible to the eye. And that's what I did to you. Before revealing you, I needed to strengthen you. Before handing you over, I needed to heal you. Before sending you, I needed to teach you to listen to me without noise, without distraction, without human urgency. Silence was not abandonment. It was refinement. It was there, where no one applauded, that I tested your faithfulness. It was in anonymity that I shaped your identity. It was in the long and lonely nights that I breathed truths that you could only hear without the noise around. And you listened. You remained. You learned to wait. You stopped depending on external signs and began to recognize my voice within. This is spiritual maturity. That's firm foundation. This is what holds great promises. Now, a new time begins. But it won't come with fanfare. He will come with peace. Clearly. With direction. You will start to notice little signs, little openings, little confirmations. They won't all come at once, because I don't want you to get confused. I want you to walk with me step by step. I want your trust to be in me, not your circumstances. Therefore, everything starts subtly. But the intensity of what I have prepared does not depend on the noise at the beginning. It depends on the origin. And the origin is heavenly. This phase will bring new connections. People with whom you can walk in purpose. No more superficial alliances, but relationships built on faith, truth, and an aligned vision. It will bring new responsibilities. The kind of weight that doesn't weigh you down, but confirms that you are being lifted in response. It will also bring sharper discernment. You will realize that what previously confused you will now be easily identified. You will have the sensitivity to recognize what comes from me and what does not. You will no longer run behind doors. You will learn to discern the ones that I am opening. You will no longer worry about convincing anyone. It will be guided by conviction. You will walk firmly, with sobriety, with peace. Because your foundation is now in me, not your emotions. And this firmness will allow you to sustain what I am releasing. This new phase is not one of visibility, it is one of solidity. And it will take you, at the right time, to places you never imagined. But until then, stay secret. Keep listening. Keep responding. I'm still forming you, and every step counts. Every silence is a response. Each wait, a construction. Every day that you choose to trust, even without seeing it, is a brick placed on the altar of your destiny. I'm with you. I keep working. And even if you don't hear thunder or see lightning, know that I am moving structures. Because what will sustain what I am building will not be visibility, it will be depth. And you are becoming someone who cannot be shaken. Someone who loves in silence, who prays constantly, who remains even when everything invites you to give up. The new phase has already begun. It started when you chose to continue. When even without signs, it remained here. When you didn't understand everything, but you still sought me. This is enough for me to continue. Because it's not about quantity, it's about truth. And your truth before me has eternal value. Continue here. There's still more. And what will come after the silence will be greater than any expectation that has ever crossed your mind. I am the Lord of the process. And at the right time, what I formed in the dark will be revealed with light. You were set apart to break cycles. Not just to survive, not just to endure, but to transform, to break chains that have crossed generations, to stop patterns of pain, rejection, and fear from continuing to repeat themselves. You may have been the first in your history to seek me deeply. Perhaps he was the first to pray truthfully, to stand up in the midst of chaos, to desire a life different from the one he saw around him. And that's why I separated you. Because I saw in you a faith that does not surrender. A love that insists. A heart that, despite being hurt, decided to love. You are not the result of chance. It was planted with intention. Positioned with purpose. Since before it all began, I had already written the days when you would rise in response. And now is that time. The time in which I activate in you that which has always been there, waiting to mature. You have the authority to break what once seemed unbreakable. There is an anointing to touch what was sick. He has a voice to break the silence that imprisons him. And this begins when you believe that I separated you not out of pity, but out of mission. What you've experienced so far hasn't been a waste of time. Each tear, each battle, each internal conflict formed a foundation in you that many do not have. You learned to resist, you learned to pray when no one saw, you learned to stand up even when everything told you to stop. And I was there. Not letting your faith die. Feeding your hope, even when it seemed like there was no reason. And now, you start to realize, there was something bigger being formed. Something that goes far beyond you. I called you to be a column. To be the foundation. To be the one who holds on with faith when everything shakes. To be the starting point of a new story. Maybe you came from a lineage marked by abandonment, betrayal, misery, fear, lifeless religiosity, but I raised you to be the break. To be the transition link. To declare that in you, something new begins. That through your life, others will have access to what they never imagined. You are the answer to prayer, even to prayers you don't know were prayed. It's not about being perfect. It's about being willing. And you have been. You have continued without even seeing it. He has been praying even without feeling it. He has loved even without return. And that is spiritual nobility. This is heavenly essence. And that is why now I visit you with strength. To reaffirm that what you carry is not ordinary. It's key. It's an answer. It's healing. Your obedience is touching areas you don't see. It's healing pain you didn't cause. It is transforming atmospheres that previously only knew how to repeat pain. You will realize that from now on, your presence carries another dimension. Wherever you enter, you will feel the atmosphere. The words you say, even simple ones, will carry weight. Because they come from someone who was worked in secret. They come from someone who not only survived, but was forged. You will no longer be a victim of the cycles that tried to imprison you. You will be the one who destroys them. And through your life, many others will know that it is possible to live something new. Your story will not only be marked by what you overcame, but by what you started. There is a new lineage starting from you. A generation that will know peace because you chose not to repeat what you experienced. A generation that will see restoration because you chose to remain. A generation that will know the light because you refuse to live in the shadows. I honor you for this. And I tell you, you will not be left without an answer. It will not be without fruit. Because whoever carries what you carry does not go unnoticed in heaven. Comment now, with faith, what you believe God is breaking in your life. Write with intentionality. Name what will no longer have power over you. Because as you declare, heaven confirms. As you write, the spiritual world moves. There is an anointing on His words. And when you take a stand, I speak up. You were separated to break up, and this is already happening. Stay with me. There is still more for me to reveal to you. Because what starts now doesn't end with you. It will achieve much more than you can imagine. There is power in your mouth and in your hands. You may not be fully aware of this yet, but heaven already recognizes the authority that is over you. Your words are not empty when they are aligned with my will. Your statements carry anointing when they are born of faith. Your simple gestures, when guided by love and obedience, become eternal seeds. You are not an ordinary person. You have been activated. And when someone activated speaks, the spiritual world moves. I've been putting words in your mouth that don't come from you. Have you noticed how, in unexpected moments, you feel the impulse to console someone, to advise, to pray? This is not random. It is because I am releasing through you what heaven has already decreed. You have been my messenger in places where I myself sent you with the right heart. There are places where your presence has brought healing without you knowing. There are conversations where His words were breathing space for someone on the verge of collapse. There are times when your intercession has stopped spiritual attacks before they happen. And now, that power increases. Not as a burden, but as a flow. You won't need to force anything. You will just be where I want, speaking what I breathe, doing what I move. Because His hands were also consecrated. And there is healing in them. There is reception. There is firmness. When you touch, when you hug, when you reach out, something happens. Because I am in you. And everything you do with love becomes an expression of my kingdom. This power is not to dominate, it is to restore. It's not to impress, it's to heal. It is to lift up those who have fallen. It's to protect those on the margins. It is to declare liberation upon those who are still imprisoned. You have the authority to pray and see the heavens open. You have the freedom to prophesy and see environments transform. It has the influence to console and see hearts surrender. I put this on you because I trust you. Because I know the motivation of your heart. You will not be known by titles or positions. You will be recognized by your presence. Because wherever you are, peace goes with you. Wherever you remain, the environment will align. Your mouth will be a source of life, and no longer of doubt. Your hands will be channels of miracles, and no longer instruments of fatigue. I'm repositioning you now. Exchanging tiredness for anointing. Trading confusion for clarity. Exchanging the weight of doubt for the lightness of conviction. In fact, this power that I place over you today will reach that person for whom you pray so much. There will be a moment, and it is not far away, when your words will reach her like a breath from heaven. It could be through a message, through an unexpected conversation, through a simple attitude. But when it happens, you will know, it's not me speaking, it's God using my voice. And it will be touched. Because you are already being used even before that. Your prayer has already surrounded. Your intercession has already opened the way. And now, your voice will activate what is dormant. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't back down from the call. You are not exalting yourself by exercising authority, you are obeying. And I will be with you in every step, in every word, in every touch. It's not about emotion. It's about anointing. And it is flowing over you now. Just as I anointed prophets in the past, I am anointing you today with grace, wisdom, compassion, and steadfastness. You will be used to build, restore, and confront with love. And no one will be able to resist the anointing that I place on you. If this word confirms something within you, if you feel that God is activating gifts and authority in your life, enjoy this video now. Not as just any gesture, but as an act of agreement with heaven. Showing that you recognize what is being released is also making space for more to pour out. Your influence is just beginning. And everything you declare, everything you touch, everything you sow with faith will bring eternal fruit. Because your hands are anointed. And your mouth carries the sound of heaven. Continue. What comes after this will be extraordinary. I'm present. Pay attention. Nothing that is taking place at the moment is typical. This message is not merely any material, it is not a coincidence. Directly from the throne of heaven, it is a divine call. Because what you are about to hear now has eternal weight, I had to dispatch Miguel, my angel of battle, and I hastily unleashed something from the unseen. There was opposition. The war in the sky was genuine. Knowing the impact this word would have, spiritual powers attempted to keep it from getting to you. They knew something would move, something would unlock, something would be spared when you listened. However, nothing could halt it. What I, the Lord, have already decided cannot be undone. There is no opposing power left standing when I raise my voice. And I choose you right then and there. In order to deliver a living, direct, holy, and transformational word to your heart, I had to navigate layers of darkness, worldly sounds, and daily distractions. Breathe deeply. This moment will never be forgotten. The reason you are here is because I brought you here. There is a spiritual urgency around someone you love dearly, and you are a part of their release from this world, which is why I brought you together right now. Even if you don't realize it, you felt a burden on your soul. A restlessness that persists. Nightmarish thoughts and recollections of that individual who is cold, aloof, lost, or even in danger, and you don't know why. Now I tell you, this agony isn't arbitrary. It's a spiritual connection. Your feelings of love are a bridge. And I'm going to have divine intervention by you. Miguel didn't simply drop a message. He arrived with orders to go to battle. And now you are being urged to connect yourself with heaven. Although a life is in danger, saying yes can initiate the action that makes all the difference. You pray for that person, think about them, mention them in tears, or simply want to keep them safe in private. I also saw her. I now want to utilize you as an intercessor, a bridge, and a voice. Be aware that locations determine how the spiritual world functions. And where you stand right now, when you get this news, is really important. The time has been set, and it has come. You are now the difference between freedom and the abyss, between deliverance and mayhem. Your spirit is being awakened by me. I'm helping you see that this is more than simply a consoling message. It is an exhortation to act with trust. It's possible that you believe you lack the strength, are unprepared, or are unworthy. However, I advise you not to label the person I labeled unable. When I raise you up like a pillar, don't claim you're tiny. When I put the words in your lips, don't claim you don't know how to pray. Heaven now has faith in you. And you will see doors opening for that life that I am now demonstrating to you in your mind, as well as for yourself, if you believe and align yourself. The Lord is me. For love, I will move heaven and earth. I smash down walls, open doors, and send angels. And I am enveloping that individual. Use this message to reach someone else instead of you. In actuality, the miracle has already started. Already, the sky has shifted. Others, however, must experience what you did. Like a seed, spread this message. Additionally, what you're going to witness will be beyond your expectations in size. Remain. More is still to be revealed. How much you hold within yourself is unknown to you. However, I see. I am aware. And for that reason, I'm telling you now that everything you've experienced, felt, and confronted has a far bigger purpose than you could have ever dreamed. The suffering you kept to yourself, the times you had to keep your composure when you were breaking on the inside, the times you prayed helplessly and trusted in silence. All of this was turning me into a live instrument inside of you. Your love for that someone is more than simply an emotion. The watercourse is considered sacred. I want to cross that spiritual bridge. You're not only here to see a miracle. You are a part of the miracle, which is why you are here. You were awakened at this precise moment and formed for a specific reason. The type of faith that moves heaven has been forged in you by all you've gone through, even the falls, the delays, and the disappointments. The faith that endures in the face of ignorance. The faith that loves without expecting anything in return. The trust that endures in my hands despite the appearance of darkness. For this reason, I now assert that you are the solution. You are a tool. You are the voice. Shelter is you. And what I placed within you is sufficient to alter the course of the person you love. You will eventually get to that person who has been keeping you up at night, who you see going away, who seems to be slipping farther and farther away, and who might not even be aware of how much you love them. I am activating you as an extension of my movement, not because you are a good person. Even if you can't see it, you can feel it. Even if you don't hear back, you still pray. Even if there is no way back, you keep going. And faith is that. I also respect faith. I can even hear the murmurs. The silent thoughts you dedicate make me move. I'm letting you have something now. Something that the people who are in danger will touch. Because your prayer surrounds this person you love despite all the distractions, traps, and uncertainty they are surrounded by. And that's what's differentiating it. Don't hate what you're carrying. Don't believe that your voice is tiny. The sky moves when you speak to me. I provide encouragement when you pray. To protect you, I build invisible walls as you bend your knees. Even if you can't see anything yet, it is occurring. As you hear this word, I am dismantling strongholds right now. I am reversing the bargains made by the adversary. I'm bringing light where darkness once existed. It's not a pointless love. It is not in vain that you cry. Your sense of connection, your sense of urgency, and your restlessness are all spiritual. And I can do more the longer you stay. I move more the more you give me. Keep going. Don't give up. Refrain from doubting yourself. For now, I have placed you in this position. And I choose you just the way you are. It is not required to be flawless. It must be accessible. You're also available. Here you are. So far, you've heard. And that speaks for itself. Permit me to finish what I began now. Let this seed sprout. Let this move grow. Because your burdens transcend you. It transcends feelings. It is a spiritual legacy full of potential, healing, purpose, and freedom. Show God that you are in agreement if this word has resonated with you and you feel that you are being used as a tool. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. This is an act of spiritual agreement, not just involvement. It means that I am accessible for use and that I am here. And passionate intercession is possible for the one who loves sincerely. And a good person's intervention can have a significant impact. Proceed. More will be revealed in the future. You were meant to save as well as to love. What begins inside you will reach the impossibly high. Yes, what you carry can save a life. And since you choose to stay, you will be able to have that person you love so much. I witnessed everything. Everyone missed every tear that dropped. To keep others from worrying, you always hide. Even when you were too weak to speak, you prayed silently from the bottom of your heart. I've been there. On the days when you were happy and the days when you felt like everything was falling apart. Despite the fact that you believed you were alone, I never left you. Because I am aware of your innermost thoughts, even those you are afraid to share. And I can assure you that you weren't disregarded today. You were always cherished, protected, and escorted. You would weep with appreciation if you could see how near I was when you felt most alone. Because I could hear even your silent moans. I witnessed your soul's fatigue. I was there when you could only question yourself, until when, while gazing up into the sky. There was never a moment when I did not look at you. I was laboring in silence, laying the groundwork for a road that you were still unable to perceive, even when it appeared like nothing was happening and even when my responses didn't match your expectations. Do not take my quiet as a sign that I am not there. Silence is occasionally one of the many languages I speak. Even in the absence of assurances, it shows how much you trust, how steadfast you are, and how much you chose me. You still can't comprehend the spiritual weight of this. For it is precisely when you stay that I get more intense in my movements. You activate promises when you decide to believe even when you're exhausted. You can penetrate layers of darkness when you pray, even if you don't understand. You unite yourself with my heart when you love while being harmed. Do you believe I missed the moment you considered quitting up? I observed. When the weight was so heavy that you wanted to go to sleep and forget about it, I witnessed it. I saw that you remained silent to avoid hurting anyone. When he endured in quiet, when he swallowed words. You smiled and said that everything was okay when people inquired, but your inner world was in ruins. I observed. Furthermore, I sensed it. Because I was always there for you while you were in pain. I leaned forward whenever she sobbed. I was always closer than you could have imagined when you felt alone. I don't see you as invisible. We don't forget you. You're more than simply another person. I own you. Additionally, I don't leave my kids unanswered. I never cease acting in the unseen, even when it takes me a while to act in your sight. I came here today to tell you that nothing was in vain. All of the hushed prayers, hushed cries, and silently faith-filled thoughts were recorded in my book. I count down to tears. Your silences are like seeds that I gather. And there will be fruit from all of them. For someone you care about, you have been praying. A pain that doesn't appear to be yours yet strikes you as though it has been inside of you. It's spiritual. The roots of this affection are timeless. Additionally, I wanted to let you know that I noticed each time you brought up this person's name. I could see that every time he called for her, he thought about her when he slept, and he screamed for her safety. I witnessed their efforts to assist, their caring gestures, and their words of encouragement. I witnessed your perseverance despite all the evidence to the contrary. Because you were being tenacious in your love, just like me, I was happy with everything. Nothing was overlooked. No specifics. You haven't given this life you adore any consideration. And I firmly declare now that your unspoken loyalty was not overlooked. Even on the days when nothing appeared to change, I will remember every act of trust you showed. You will reap in joy, but you sown in grief. Since I witnessed it. Because I put it in writing. Since I am the God who reacts in the ideal moment. And that moment is drawing near. Something within you is being healed when you hear this word. Since no one has been able to touch me when I'm playing. Parts of your heart that have been neglected are being restored by me. I'm restoring the trust that was lost. I'm demonstrating to you that I was working even when it appeared like nothing was happening. Silence at this period was not punishment. It was resolved. I secretly surrounded you in order to shape, shield, and get you ready. It's time to break the quiet with understanding, therefore I'm telling you all of this now. To understand that you were never alone yourself. There's still more to come, so stay tuned. And realizing that I was never far away is the first step. I witnessed everything. As a result, I am now able to present myself in your life. Now is the moment to respond. After much waiting, what appeared to be halted, trapped, or forgotten finally begins to move. Even though you haven't seen any results from your prayers for a long time, the unseen seeds you planted are starting to sprout. I heard it everything. I picked up each order. Even when no one else did, I watched every act of trust. As the Lord of Time and Promise, I now proclaim that the moment of fulfillment has come. You never thought it would turn out this way. Perhaps you had lost the will to wait altogether. Perhaps you've grown accustomed to enduring this anguish, this absence, and this ongoing worry for the person you care about. I haven't forgotten, though. I continue to work in your behalf. What appeared to be quiet was actually preparing. Alignment appeared to be a delay. My move is flawless because it is not hurried. And nothing can stop me once I start moving. And I'm on the go now. Years of work by the enemy are being undone by me. I am releasing myself from spiritual, emotional, and even physical bonds. I'm opening doors that seem to be forever closed. What you prayed for in tears, what you secretly fantasized of, what you believed was gone. I'm rebuilding. I'm bringing you back with fresh vitality, a new mission, and divine guidance. I can still reach this person you care about and have prayed so hard for. I am reaching out to you even if you have moved away, if you have been involved in corrupt activities, or even if you have hardened your heart. Now, I direct my light to the areas where it travels. Where there used to be chaos and noise, I send my voice to reverberate. Where there was danger, I sent protection, and I gave my angels the order to envelop it in rescue. More than that, though, I provide healing. From the inside out, heal. Healing that destroys old falsehoods, heals the soul, and restores identity. Because her identity is not defined by her life. I'm intimately acquainted with her. I created it. And I am saving what the world attempted to destroy. However, you initiated this action. The day you decided to believe was the beginning. It started with his unwavering prayer. It began when you chose to love despite the pain. For this reason, I affirm today that your trust was not in vain. It was enough to shift the sky, although being as little as a mustard seed. At this point, the solutions are starting to emerge. Doors are opening. We're releasing the favor. The situation is changing. When something is locked for too long, it starts to unlock. And you'll understand that the indicators will appear. An unexpected message, a piece of news, or a detail. The solution lies in things that only you and I know. And keep this time in mind when it occurs. Recall that I told you that the moment had arrived. It was because you persisted, not because you pushed. The reason is that you trusted it, not that you forced it. At this point, you can see with your own eyes what your soul already understood. Now is the moment to live with hope. To pray firmly. To love fearlessly. Due to the fact that heaven is on your side. Please leave a remark with the word 7777 if you believe in it. Write with purpose and with trust. This number is a sign that you know the moment has arrived and that you are prepared to feel its fulfillment. It will act as a prophetic seal between you and heaven. Writing a number conveys a spiritual statement: I believe, I receive, I remain. It's a simple gesture, yet it has a huge effect on the unseen. Go on over here. More information is still coming to light. The movement will continue as it has begun. You were selected to experience and see things that others may only imagine. And that's only the start. Staying will help you save the people you care about. Yes, I'm telling you that right now. You underestimate the power of simply remaining here, keeping your heart open to my message, and refusing to disconnect in the thick of the fight. That person you love is the target of a spiritual conflict, and your adherence to me has served as a barrier, a wall of defense, and a continuous conduit for my actions. You are setting yourself up for a reaction each time you choose to stay, even in the absence of any changes or emotions. I am aware that sometimes it seems useless. There are days when you believe that prayer is no longer necessary, that nothing is altered. That individual is getting colder, more aloof, and more invested in the destruction they cause. However, I see beyond. I am aware of what occurs when you call out in the Spirit. When you choose to persevere. Even if your voice is weak, when you fervently repeat her name. You're causing holes in the heavens. It is building unseen pathways for the passage of my glory. How much your faith has kept things together when they might have already fallen apart is beyond you. You have no idea the number of deliverances I have already made possible by your cries. And for that reason, I'm telling you straight out today, don't stop. Don't give up. You're saving money by staying. Your affection is extending itself. Deep opposition is being overcome by your spiritual determination. Your battle is not in vain. He's not battling by himself either. I agree with you. I am encircling this individual. I'm going where you're not allowed. You can't talk while I can. You would never be able to touch where I am. But the only reason this is all taking place is because you persisted. Because you choose to stay. And that is the factor that separates the rescue from the fall. Between devastation and salvation. A living bridge is you. An intercessor who is invisible but incredibly strong. Don't undervalue your visit. The adversary wants you to become disengaged, fatigued, and distracted. Because he is aware that the sky will always be open as long as you keep going. I'll keep moving as long as you listen to me. Miracles are still in the making as long as you have faith. He attempted to give you the impression that it wasn't working because of this. However, I dispel this myth today. It's functioning. It is being completed. They're releasing it. Sometimes conflict gets more intense right before it is won. Perhaps the reason you feel the most burdened right now isn't that everything is gone, but rather that the opponent has already acknowledged he will lose. And it moves. Because I can't stop what I started. Since my response won't be returned empty. Because I stand by what I promised. But you must follow me. May it stay. I hope you let me keep performing. I make room while you stay. I destroy strongholds while you pray. I free while you love. I restore as long as you believe. Even if you can't see it, there is a movement taking place right now. However, your eyes will notice. Because soon the unseen will be seen. And the seemingly inaccessible will be touched. You will find what seemed lost. Everything that appeared unrecoverable will be fully restored. Spread the message to those you know should hear it as well. Just like you, there are others who are silently praying for someone, believing that only heaven sees. Additionally, this message could hold the secret to reviving a religion that will save the lives of others. On this quest, you are not alone. Many others have been brought up to be devoted and to love sincerely. Share that brightness. Share this reality. Because when we work together, we are creating a movement that will accomplish far more than we can have ever imagined. Proceed. Remain. I'm present. And your actions are reverberating across the skies, even while you remain silent. It's love. Faith is this. This is the way to salvation. And the focal point of what I'm going to finish is you. What was yours was blocked by the adversary. He made an effort to break his word, sabotage procedures, cloud his judgment, and erode his faith. You even believed for a long time that these were simply conditions of life. Today, however, I tell you that a war was waged in the unseen. She was also intense. A spiritual fight was set up to prevent you from receiving what I have unleashed into your life, which is why you experienced emotional pressure, everyday resistance, and what felt like failure after failure. Feeling as though something was attempting to slow you down wasn't incorrect. And when everything seemed to fall apart right before you were ready to go on, it wasn't your imagination. It was done with a purpose. Because what you were transporting was known to the adversary. Even in quiet, I was aware of your spiritual effect. He was aware that his love for that individual was a supernatural bond rather than an ordinary one. He was aware that his faith could move mountains despite its weariness. He also made an effort to halt it. He made an effort to quiet you, confuse you, and isolate you. However, it didn't work. Because you continued. Because you choose to go on. And because I am now advocating for you. I didn't keep quiet out of negligence. I was observing. I was in training. I was giving myself permission to act justly and powerfully at the appropriate moment. I now pronounce that the obstacles are being broken with a level of authority that no opposing spirit can equal. Angels with swords in hand are being sent by me. Angels are sent to fight. Angels that come down with orders straight from my throne to destroy the weapons used against you and your loved ones. These angels are more than simply messengers. They arrive as fighters. They come to demolish occultity, cast curse words, cut off connections, dissolve unseen pacts, and remove the enemy's footprints. They come to repair the crushed land, purify the air, and return what was silently stolen. Because you will no longer be denied what is rightfully yours. Because I will fulfill my commitment to you without delay. Because you are receiving an honorable return of what is spiritually yours. You're not aware of the traps that were laid. How many attempts there were to weaken you before you arrived. However, you prevailed. By permanency, not by coercion. Because you stayed even when you didn't know, when you were crying, when you were confused. The sky is currently moving in your favor. Not just to pay tribute to you, but also to release the life you so lovingly put before me. Since that individual was encircled as well. It was likewise imprisoned in invisible chains. Shrouded in deception, sinister routes, mental jumbles, and relationships that did not originate with me. However, your prayer made it possible. Rifts were created by his intervention. Where there had previously been just gloom, his faith brought light. And I went inside. I brought my soldiers inside. I walked in with order. I walked in with strength. Additionally, previously banned content will again be made available. The commitments have not been revoked. They just faced resistance. However, I am stronger than any opposition. With the sound of my voice, I, the God, shatter bows, break shackles, and tear down walls. And now I'm speaking to you, telling you to move on. Since nothing can stop you. Nothing will halt my actions. Additionally, anything the adversary attempted to use against you will be used as evidence. You'll be able to witness my actions firsthand. You'll have an experience above your wildest expectations. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you believe that this word is yours and something inside of you tells you that it is now being accomplished. This action is more than just a click, it's a spiritual indication that you are in sync with what heaven is doing in a prophetic deed. You're not here by accident. It was propelled. It was selected. The restoration process has now started. Remain with me. The obstructed thing has already begun to move. Complete liberty is the next step. Chains are descending now, invisible. Something far bigger than you can see is taking place in the spiritual realm as you listen and keep your heart open. It's not only present. It's within you. I'm touching places that have long been kept secret. The locations where the discomfort has subsided. Thoughts that were restricting you yet were normalized. Even if you couldn't recall the wounds, they nonetheless affected your choices, anxieties, and silences. Where no one has gone before, I'm going. Where you refrain from going yourself. I'm removing connections you were unaware of and unlocking doors within. And I'm doing this with love rather than violence. With my spirit, which purifies and restores, with my voice, which releases, and with my presence, which heals. There are aspects of your spirit that have been suppressed, obstructed, or rendered inactive. Events that you went through and that continue to haunt you like ghosts. Now, however, all of that is being reversed. Liberation is no longer limited to your surroundings. You possess it. Because you must be healed before you can save the person you love. And that's the reason I'm being so careful with you. I called you to be a conduit of life, not a reenactment of suffering. And I am aware that you have gone through experiences that have left you with scars. You made several attempts to support and be strong for others, yet deep down you still held burdens you were unable to let go of. I'll demonstrate to you today that you don't have to put up with these emotional restraints any longer. I come to shatter them. Even what you lack the guts to admit, I come to liberate. Words you heard helped create some of these arrests. Others, as a result of his rejections. For disappointments he silently swallowed. Via quiet desertion. For unjust comparisons. For sudden treachery. And you developed boundaries as a result of everything. Defense systems. Limitations placed on yourself that keep you from freely moving forward. I shatter them one by one now, though. I disprove all of the enemy's arguments. All the lies that were planted in your brain. Every charge that attempted to misrepresent who you were. You're not weak. You're not any less. We don't forget you. I own you. And I'm reclaiming your identity. What formerly held you back will now motivate you to move forward. The evidence of the new trust I am establishing in you will now be what previously made you hesitant to trust. Old wounds will no longer be the basis for your reactions. The new vision I'm releasing will determine how it behaves. It's changing your mind. You're aligning your heart. The obstructed spiritual flow then starts to forcefully reveal itself. You'll observe shifts in your thoughts, feelings, and perceptions of the world around you. There will be a new lightness that you perceive. A sudden bravery. An increasing desire to give me even more of yourself. This is the result of my current actions. Because my spirit finds room when the shackles fall. And I create everything from scratch when I have the time. Indeed, some currents were having an impact on your relationships. Keeping you from being open, trustworthy, and genuinely forgiving. Chains created by repeated familial events, traumatic experiences, and hurtful remarks you will never forget. But I know how to break cycles. In patterns of interruption. In resolving seemingly unending traumas. And I'm uprooting these old roots right now. Because what occurred was not meant to be your life. In what I have prepared, you have been called to walk freely. You won't be afraid to love. You'll pray authoritatively. You'll make a clear intervention. Because your voice will no longer be held by anything. Your spirit will no longer be hindered by anything. I will use the healing that started in you as a conduit to heal others. That person in your heart is one of them. Your freedom also determines hers. Additionally, the freeing anointing is currently flowing through your life as you accept, obey, and trust. The gloom will give way to brightness. Now there will be assurance where there was doubt. Momentum will now replace the weight. Since I called you to shatter chains, not pull them. And now you are being released. It was not a pointless stay. The freedom has begun. Additionally, more will be released soon. Proceed. I continue to guide you to more profound realms of promise. You have the key to other people's freedom. Perhaps that's not how you've ever thought. Perhaps you thought that before you could assist someone, you had to be fully recovered, strong, and resolved. Today, however, I demonstrate to you that you are already being used, even throughout the process, during the battle, and even with scars and markings. Because your mental condition has no bearing on my power. Your delivery will determine this. You have also caved in. You've made yourself accessible. Despite your fear and lack of knowledge, you have answered my call. I am able to act because of this. The promise does not end with you. It will run through you as its conduit. I launched you on a path of emancipation that goes beyond simple relief. The purpose is to turn you into a tool. You will be able to raise others up, shatter bonds, and unlock doors with what I am constructing inside your heart. That also applies to the person you love. The one to whom you call out each day. The one that appears chilly, distant, and far away. Now, what is happening in you serves as a live link between heaven and her. It matters where you stand. Your stay is important. Your faith is opening up previously inaccessible areas. You are already spiritually there in my name, yet there are areas she would never travel alone. Barriers were broken by his intervention. Your loyalty in private is worthless. And you must understand that your tenacity is the foundation upon which her freedom is being constructed. The sky tilts as you bow your knees. I move with strength when you come to me in quiet. It's not just about that individual, anyway. It concerns everyone that the transformation I'm bringing about in you will affect. You are the target of an anointing that is pouring out. It'll be over. It will get to other people. Because you weren't called to just bear the suffering. He was called to change the world. To fill my presence. To be a response in the absence of any queries. To speak out when there was previously no sound. Where there was turmoil, there was light. For a long time, you believed that you were incapable. Because he lacked the necessary items. That others were stronger, more spiritual, and more equipped. However, I don't call the ones who are ready. I get those ready. You are, too. It was you who stayed in spite of your fear. He prayed despite his injuries. He kept planting despite the lack of fruit. And for that reason, I have given you this assignment. Since you genuinely adore. Since you are concerned. Because my heart is with you. Someone who answers yes is the first to liberate others. You also stated. Perhaps without recognizing it, perhaps without appreciating the profundity. However, you stated. He prayed even though he wasn't sure if it was effective. Even if he didn't see it, he believed. When you requested someone, they failed to provide. When he demanded someone who appeared to be lost already. The sky was opened by that one. You will now be able to witness firsthand what occurs when someone chooses to carry love faithfully. I'm bringing everything around you into alignment. Influencing others throughout your life. Healing with your intervention. Relocating where you are staying. And the sky is recording even if no one watches or cheers. Additionally, the outcome will be more than simply spiritual. It will be apparent. Smiles will be returned for you to behold. Re-established connections. Rescued souls. Clear the way. Because I create silent revolutions whenever I encounter a heart that is open. Love is what has ignited you. And it will be utilized out of affection for years to come. The freedom that started within of you is already growing. And the torrent of what I released will continue unabated. Go on over here. And there's more. Deep levels of the assignment I gave you are still being revealed by me. Keep going. Because you won't believe the effect of what I'm doing now. Yes, was the first step. And he continues to get responses from above. Now, old sins are being forgiven. The ones that you keep to yourself. The ones that continue to come see you early in the morning. The ones you become accustomed to living with as though they were a natural part of you. But they're not, I assure you. I provided you an identification that does not include them. They were fueled by time, imposed by falsehoods, and strengthened by both internal and external charges. However, they are being eliminated one by one today, in front of me. Because you can no longer be imprisoned by what I forgive. For things that have already been addressed on my altar, you charge yourself. He reenacts past events, relives choices he wishes he had made, and examines what he said and didn't say. Additionally, you unknowingly consume a burden that I never put on you. I am not the source of this guilt. This self-defeating pattern, this self-deprecating thought process, is not what I have to say. I don't accuse in my speech. My voice becomes better. She is now trying to tell you, enough. I have already removed your burdens, so stop carrying them. No more strolling with a backward gaze. No more windows being locked, which used to hinder light from entering. The error you committed does not define you. It's not the quiet that existed. He regrets not being there. I created, summoned, and empowered you, and today I am restoring you. Despite all that transpired, I still adore you. And the goal I laid out for you is not negated by any of this. I really utilized the falls as a foundation for a construction. His sensitivity was honed by the difficult days. His sensibility was honed by deep sufferings. The shortcomings you now regret serve as stepping stones for the spiritual power I am imposing on you. You have nothing left to prove. You don't have to defend anything anymore. I witnessed everything. I know the reasons behind each of your choices. I am aware of your efforts, your regrets, and your desire to have done things differently. I have thus offered my grace. The same grace that changes, covers, and cleans. For those who follow my guidance, there is no more condemnation. You are, too. You've returned. You choose to stay. You let your heart open. And that's sufficient. You are no longer controlled by the past. This emancipation also includes the person you love and who you sob for. Because you felt unworthy, and that was part of what prevented you from fully interfering. However, I tell you, you are excellent, therefore I don't utilize you. You're available, therefore I utilize you. And I'm currently removing layers of shame, fear, and accusations. I'm trading in my mourning garments for clothing of righteousness. I'm covering your head with fresh oil. I own you. And you are guilt-free, I say. What appeared to be an internal barrier will now be a testimonial. Now, I will utilize some of what held you back to set others free. Because someone who has conquered it is waiting to hear from others. Wishing to see the potential for a fresh start in someone. And that reference will be you. It's out of grace, not pride. For transformation, not for merit. Because those who get profound forgiveness are genuinely loving. Additionally, you will be a conduit for love like never before. Stop feeling anguish when you look back. Examine with appreciation. Because I was teaching you to trust even when it looked like everything was going wrong. You were learning to hear my voice from me. She's calling you to the new now. The new, where guilt has no place. Where your heart is free, your feet are sturdy, and your head is lifted high. Where you can pray fearlessly. Loves without reservation. And it doesn't hide. Distribute this word to individuals who also require guilt-free living. Some people are waiting for a word of relief since their lives are locked in the past. And that word came to you, to flow, not to stop at you. Healing is transmitted via sharing. The same liberty you are currently feeling is being extended by it. We've forgiven you. It's back in working order. And in reaction, it is being raised. Go on over here. More will be released soon. The process is only getting started. What formerly made you feel ashamed will now be a part of the wonderful plan I am unveiling for your life. What appeared to be loss turned out to be protection. It stung, I know. I am aware that at the time, you were not understanding. I witnessed your goals being derailed and the things you so desperately desired being torn away. I witnessed his efforts, his prayers, and his high standards for people, places, and opportunities. I too witnessed the moment when everything abruptly collapsed. Today, however, I tell you that it was deliverance rather than desertion. I shut doors you weren't old enough to comprehend yet. I shielded you from seemingly worthwhile ways that would divert you from your mission. You believed you had lost, but I actually retained you. Of coalitions that would devour you from inside. From situations where your identity might be destroyed. Of decisions that would imprison you emotionally. Of places that had spiritual traps but appeared enticing. You felt like a failure, forgotten, and rejected when you glanced back. However, I was guiding you back to the secure route. Because I see things that you do not. I am aware of what is ahead. And because I love you too much to allow you to exist outside of what I planned for you, I stood my ground even when you fought and even when you sobbed and begged for it to return. You would be so appreciative right now if you knew the specifics I avoided, the errors I avoided, and the connections I severed without your knowledge. I took you out of more agony. I released you from unowned weights, among cycles that would engulf you. And I was working covertly to safeguard what you still didn't grasp, even when you insisted and believed my silence to be apathy. Furthermore, it wasn't just about you. It also has to do with who you love. There were dangers all around that person you've been pleading for that you were blind to. She was likewise on the verge of taking a risk. And I was able to legally intervene thanks to your intervention. Indeed, there were breaks. There were departures, indeed. However, it was for preservation. I parted ways to recover. I took a step back to get in line. To reroute, I unplugged. Because stillness is necessary for healing. And there must be room for rebuilding. I was asked to protect you. He requested that I handle it. And I was careful. Not in the manner you had hoped. Looking back, you'll see that what appeared to be injustice was actually kindness. Zeal was what appeared to be forgetfulness. The path to redemption was diverted by what appeared to be retribution. You weren't being punished by me. I was setting you up. You needed to be in the right spot, with the right heart, and away from everything that would try to take you away from me because wonderful things were about to happen. And see how things begin to make sense. New beginnings were made possible by those agonizing pauses. You were propelled to higher pathways by those closed doors. Those who departed made space for spiritual relationships. To provide what is everlasting, I took away what was excellent. And I continue to do so. I'm still getting rid of the extra. The land is still being cleared by me. Because you need rich soil for what I'm about to plant in you. Don't be sorry for things that haven't returned. For what I had to take away, stop crying. Have faith in my enthusiasm. I never treated you carelessly. I never will be, either. I'm now taking care of it. I'm refocusing your attention on the important things. I'm changing your feelings, your hopes, your aspirations. You're getting ready for something far bigger than you could have ever imagined. And in order to prepare for this, you must let go of anything that no longer benefits you, does not fortify you, or draws you nearer to me. Subscribe to the channel if you believe that this word has helped you reorient yourself and that something inside of you now makes sense of what was before confusing you. Your alignment includes being here, in tune with what heaven is releasing. It is a method of staying in the place where God's voice is still heard. On this journey, you're not by alone. I agree with you. And what had before appeared to be the end was instead the start of redemption. Now don't stop. I continue to clean, align, and disclose. And what follows will surpass anything that vanished. Have faith. What appeared to be loss turned out to be protection. You'll quickly understand why. Silence ushers in a new stage. Not with cheers, not with commercials, nor with instant fame. The first sign of someone who has received inside treatment is their lightness. With the sternness of someone who discovered how to believe when everything else seemed lost. It starts in the secret, where no one can see, but where I was constantly creating in you what no one else could. And now I can assure you that what was established in quiet will last forever. Because everything that comes from me has a destiny, a purpose, and a direction. You could have wondered, why doesn't anything happen, as you gazed about? Why do I feel like I'm waiting, standing motionless, forgotten, while everyone else seems to be moving forward? However, I refer to what you call stagnation as foundation. Because all solid structure begins underneath, out of sight. And I treated you that way. I had to make you stronger before I could disclose you. I had to heal you before I could turn you over. I had to train you to listen to me without distraction, without noise, and without human haste before I could send you. Abandonment was not silence. It was sophistication. I put your commitment to the test there, where nobody cheered. I molded your identity while you were anonymous. I said realities that were only audible when there was no outside noise during those long, lonely hours. And you paid attention. You stayed. You acquired the ability to wait. You started to hear my voice inside of you and ceased relying on outside cues. This is a sign of spiritual growth. That's a solid base. This is what has a lot of potential. A new era has begun. However, there won't be any fanfare. He will arrive in peace. Of course. Under guidance. Little indications, gaps, and affirmations will begin to appear. I don't want you to become confused, so they won't all appear at once. I want you to follow me every step of the way. I want you to put your faith in me rather than your situation. As a result, everything begins quietly. However, the noise level at the start has no bearing on how intense what I have planned is. The origin determines this. Furthermore, the genesis is divine. This stage will introduce new relationships. People you can walk purposefully with. Relationships based on faith, honesty, and a shared goal will replace flimsy connections. There will be new obligations as a result. The type of weight that affirms that you are being lifted in return, rather than making you feel heavy. Sharper discernment will also result from it. You'll notice that things that used to baffle you can now be recognized with ease. You will be sensitive enough to discern what originates from me and what doesn't. You're going to stop running behind doors. You'll be able to tell which ones I'm opening. You won't have to worry about persuading anybody anymore. Conviction will serve as its compass. You'll stroll steadily, sober, and peacefully. Because I now serve as your base rather than your feelings. And you will be able to maintain what I am releasing because of this rigidity. This next stage is one of solidity rather than visibility. Additionally, it will transport you to unexpected areas at the correct moment. But keep it a secret until then. Continue to listen. Continue answering. Every step matters as I continue to shape you. Every quiet moment is a reaction. Every wait is a work of art. Even if you don't see it, every day you decide to put your faith in others is a stone added to the altar of your fate. I agree with you. I continue to work. Additionally, remember that I am shifting structures even if you don't see or hear lightning or thunder. Because depth, not visibility, will be what keeps what I am doing going. Additionally, you are developing into an unshakable person. Someone who prays continuously, who loves without words, and who perseveres when everything seems lost. The new stage is now underway. It began when you decided to keep going. It stayed here even in the absence of indications. When you sought me out even if you didn't grasp anything. This is sufficient for me to go on. Because truth is more important than quantity. And the truth you tell me is worth forever. Go on over here. And there's more. And the quiet will be followed by something bigger than you could have ever imagined. The procedure is ruled by me. And when the moment is perfect, light will illuminate what I created in the dark. You were designated to interrupt cycles. Not only to live, not just to endure, but to change, to sever the bonds that have held generations together, to prevent the recurrence of painful, rejecting, and fearful cycles. Perhaps you were the first person in your history to sincerely seek me out. He could have been the first to rise up in the middle of pandemonium, to pray honestly, or to wish for a different existence from the one he observed. And for that reason, I kept you apart. Because I witnessed an unwavering confidence in you. An unyielding affection. A heart that chose to love in spite of being wounded. You are not a product of luck. It was purposefully placed. Purposefully positioned. I had already written the days when you would rise and answer before it all started. And that moment has arrived. The moment when I awaken in you that which has always been and is only waiting to develop. You have the power to shatter what appeared indestructible. An anointing is performed to touch the ill. The quiet that confines him can be broken by his voice. And this starts when you think that I split you out for a purpose rather than out of sympathy. It hasn't been a waste of time for you thus far. Every tear, struggle, and internal struggle gave you a foundation that many others lack. You learned to stand up when everything urged you to stop, to pray when no one was looking, and to resist. I was also present, preserving your faith, sustaining your optimism even when it didn't seem justified. You begin to see now that something larger was taking shape. Something that transcends you completely. I asked you to serve as a columnist. To serve as the cornerstone. To be the one who maintains their faith in the face of uncertainty. To serve as the beginning of a new narrative. Perhaps your ancestry was characterized by desertion, treachery, suffering, terror, and a dead religion. However, I brought you up to be the exception. To serve as the link of transition. To proclaim that something fresh starts within of you. So others will have access to things they never thought possible during your life. Even for prayers you are unaware were prayed, you are the answer. Being flawless is not important. It all comes down to willingness. You have been, too. Even if you didn't see it, you kept on. Despite not experiencing anything, he has been praying. He loved without expecting anything in return. Spiritual nobility is that. This is the essence of heaven. And for that reason, I come to you today with strength. Must remind yourself that what you are carrying is not typical. It's crucial. It's a response. It's getting better. You're touching things you can't see with your obedience. The suffering you didn't cause is being healed. It is changing environments that were previously limited to reproducing pain. You'll come to understand that your presence now has an additional dimension. You will sense the vibe wherever you go. Even the most basic things you say will have an impact. As they originate from a person who operated covertly. They originate from a person who was forged in addition to having lived. The cycles that attempted to confine you will no longer affect you. It will be you who annihilates them. Additionally, a lot of people will learn from your life that trying something new is doable. Your tale will be characterized by what you began as much as what you conquered. You are the first in a new lineage. Because you choose not to repeat your experience, a generation will know peace. A generation that, as a result of your decision to stay, will witness restoration. Because you refuse to live in the darkness, a generation will be aware of the light. For this, I honor you. You won't be left without a response, I assure you. There will be some fruit. Because in heaven, those who bear what you bear are not overlooked. Tell us in your faith what you think God is bringing about in your life. Write with purpose. Name the thing that will no longer control you. Because heaven validates what you say. The spiritual world is in motion while you write. His words have been anointed. And I say something when you do. This is already taking place after you were split apart. Remain with me. I have more to share with you yet. Because you are not the end of what begins today. It will do far more than you can think. You have power in your hands and in your voice. Heaven already knows who is in charge of you, even if you aren't quite conscious of it yet. When your words are in accordance with my desire, they are not meaningless. When your words come from a place of faith, they are anointed. Your small actions become eternal seeds when they are motivated by love and obedience. You are not a typical individual. Your activation has occurred. Additionally, the spiritual world moves when an energized person talks. I've been forcing words on you that don't originate with you. Have you ever observed how you suddenly feel compelled to offer consolation, counsel, or prayer? This isn't a random occurrence. That's because I'm letting go of what heaven has already decided by you. Wherever I send you with the proper heart, you have been my messenger. Sometimes, without you realizing it, your presence has brought about healing. His statements provided breathing room for someone who was about to lose it in certain talks. In several instances, your intervention has prevented spiritual assaults before they occur. And that power is growing now. As a flow rather than a burden. Nothing will need to be forced. You will just be where I want you to be, saying what I say and acting as I move. Thus his hands were sanctified as well. Additionally, they are healing. Reception is available. Firmness is present. Something happens when you reach out, touch, or embrace someone. Because you contain me. And my kingdom is expressed in all you do out of love. This power is for restoration, not domination. It's to heal, not to impress. Its purpose is to elevate the downtrodden. It's to safeguard the marginalized. Its purpose is to proclaim freedom for those who remain incarcerated. You have the power to unlock the skies via prayer. You are able to perceive environments change and prophesy. It has the power to comfort and cause hearts to give up. I trust you, therefore I put this on you. Because I am aware of your inner drive. No titles or positions will be used to identify you. Your presence will be recognized. Because serenity follows you wherever you go. The surroundings will be in harmony wherever you stay. There won't be any more hesitation since your mouth will be a wellspring of life. Your hands will no longer be tools of exhaustion but rather conduits for marvels. Now I'm moving you about. Anointing in exchange for fatigue. Clarity is exchanged for ambiguity. Swapping the lightness of certainty for the weight of doubt. Actually, the person you pray so hard for will be reached by the power I give you today. One day, and it won't be long, your words will resonate with her like a divine breath. It could come from a simple attitude, a message, or an unexpected interaction. It will be touched, though, and you will realize that it's not me speaking, it's God using my voice. Because even before that, you are being used. Your request has already been answered. The path has already been cleared by your intervention. Your voice will now awaken what has been asleep. Don't be scared to voice your opinions. Don't give up on the call. By using your power, you are complying, not elevating yourself. And I promise to be there for you at every turn, every word, every touch. Emotion isn't the point. It has to do with anointing. And it's currently gushing over you. I am anointing you now with grace, wisdom, compassion, and steadfastness, just as I have done with prophets in the past. You will be employed in the construction, repair, and confrontation of love. And I will anoint you, and no one will be able to oppose. Watch the video now if this word resonated with you and you sense that God is bringing power and gifts into your life. As an act of agreement with heaven, not just any gesture. Making room for more to flow out is another way to demonstrate that you understand what is being released. Your impact is only getting started. And you will reap eternal fruit from everything you say, touch, and plant with confidence. Since your hands have been anointed. And the voice of heaven is carried by your tongue. Proceed. This will be followed by something remarkable.